right. Let's see. And we're live.
All right.
Alrighty. Give me 1 second. Get back to the Zoom. What is good, YouTube? My name is Aaron.
It's Brian in
And
the
this
building.
is the Courtside View podcast, and we are live. Hold up. Let me get out of this YouTube, whatever. Yeah, and this is episode 6. Now, as you guys see, we're not in the studio today because this is the weekday. So we're going to be bringing you guys more content, like we said in the previous episode. And so we're going to get more podcast episodes during the week. So that's really exciting, don't you think? But yeah, let's not wait too long. Let's get to the elephant in the room, and that is the Suns game, because I've never been more shocked in my life. Now, there's probably been some crazy moments that I've seen in sports, but that is on the top of my list because I did not expect the Suns to lay an egg that badly like they did Sunday. How do you feel about the whole situation, Brian?
I am shocked, disgusted by that performance. The Suns had. I knew the Mavs were good. I said they would at least take the series to 6 games, but I didn't expect them to win. But that just shows how special Luka is and how those role players stepped up, like Spencer Dinwiddie having 30 points. This man is making me look bad for putting him on the front. Man, I ain't counting that. He wasn't doing nothing for the whole series, but now he wants to score 30. But yeah, the Suns, they was fraudulent. I mean, what can I say?
I'll say this. I'll say this because you have been sort of beating the drum on the Suns, saying that you're not sold on them, and I was sort of still trying to believe in them because I've seen them last year with adversity still be able to go to the NBA Finals, see CP3 come up huge in some games, and I just thought that with their experience, with what they have done in the past, that they'll be able to prevail. But I was wrong. I was completely wrong. And listen here, I gotta say some things because Chris Paul, Devin Booker, DeAndre Ayton. Oh man, you talk about a trash class performance like no other. That was the worst performance I've ever seen. Chris Paul, Devin Booker, DeAndre Ayton. Oh my God, DeAndre Ayton, Luka Doncic. Every time there was a switch on DeAndre Ayton, it was food every single time. No wonder Monty Williams was like, "Yo, you got to get the hell out of here because Luka is cooking your ass." Literally every time he switched on him, it was food, and so you just saw Luka Doncic just destroy them. Like Mikal Bridges, a guy that was top 2 in Defensive Player of the Year conversation, and all of a sudden he just looks like an average defender, like when he's guarding Luka. And that just reminds me of what Gilbert Arenas said about just defensive players in general. It doesn't matter how good a defensive player you are. Offense always beats defense. It also matchups matter. So like a Luka Doncic who, listen, dude is he's not the skinniest guy in the world. Like he's pretty strong for his size. Dude's like 6'8", probably like 240. This man, Mikal Bridges, sure, he has a long wingspan, but dude is relatively skinny. And you know what's going to happen when Luka Doncic, a guy that's 240, 6'8", and you're guarding him. You're just going to get exposed. You're going to get bullied down low. And that's exactly what Luka did. And Cam Johnson, oh, God bless you, Cam Johnson. Like, oh, man. When you went to the ground, like when Luka did that little snatch back and you went to the ground, I was like, good God almighty. This man is getting cooked right now. And yeah, Cam Johnson, he got the business too. Chris Paul, oh my God, Chris Paul was my favorite point guard in the past 10 years. Oh man, it's just not looking good. Like Spencer Dinwiddie was cooking him off the screen and roll. Obviously, Luka Doncic, he was getting some buckets on him. It just wasn't looking good for them. And I don't know how you feel about the whole situation with Chris Paul. I know I've seen you on Twitter sort of agreeing.
We was taking victory laps.
Yeah, you were definitely smoking that Chris Paul pack. I'm surprised you didn't post a little smoking pack video on there, but essentially that's what you were doing.
See, the thing here is about Chris Paul, the writing was on the wall from the beginning. Man had that fluke 14 for 14 game against the Pelicans. And I was like, yeah, he's not doing that again. And this man had an all-time stinker this series against the Mavs. And it was just bad. It was a bad look. It was bad for his legacy. It was bad for the Suns. The championship window, that last year was their chance. And now the window was like, it was like here. Now it's pretty much closed.
Yeah, it's done for. Yeah, it's definitely closing.
Just unless they get something drastic over the off season, I don't see them getting back to the finals anytime soon, especially if Devin Booker is your main guy.
Yeah. What this series showed me is that Devin Booker, he's not a 1, he's a 2. Like, let's get this out the way. All these people trying to crown Devin Booker saying, oh, yeah, he's the number 1. He's the next Kobe. Like, stop it. Stop all of this overrating Devin Booker. Oh, Devin Booker, he's the most disrespected superstar. Like, stop it. Stop it. Superstar. He's not a superstar.
That leads into my point that we will get later in the episode. People overuse the term superstar in elite.
I've been saying that a lot. I've been saying that for a long time. Like, I go into group chats, guys calling these guys superstars. I'm like, hold on. Like, first of all, this is not Ja Morant conversation, but let's slow down the hype for Ja Morant. Like, Ja Morant, he's a star. But a superstar, I need to see another year of this. Exactly. I need to see another year of this before I crown a man a superstar. Because people were calling Trae Young a superstar last year. Remember that? Remember that whole playoff performance against Philly, against in the first round against the Knicks, and then the first game against the Bucks. People were like, oh yeah, Trae Young is a superstar. I was like, no, he is not. No, I need to see more of this. I can't just see 1 year of it and then all of a sudden you're going to crown this man a superstar. No, I need to see a pattern of behavior over a course of a few years. Like Jason Tatum, if you want to call Jason Tatum a superstar, albeit I believe Jason Tatum, he's a superstar. He's a superstar. You know why? Because I've seen a pattern of behavior from Jason Tatum, especially last year when he went against the Nets and he was by himself and dropped 50. That's superstar performance behavior right there. And then what else? Also this year, first round, second round, he showed up and produced. So if somebody wants to call Jason Tatum a superstar, I'm not mad at it because I've seen a pattern of behavior. But when it comes to a Devin Booker, no.
I'm not going to fully agree with you with that Tatum point. I have to see what happens the rest of these playoffs. I'm giving them the Celtics tax. That's all. But yeah, people do throw that word around. I don't think Ja is a superstar yet. He's like the upper tier before superstar. Like he's hovering around the Trae Young area.
Yeah, he's definitely in that.
And I guess you could, if you well, for me, the Jason Tatum area, that's the area I put him in. So and the thing for me, when I think of like superstar, I think of like
top 10 player.
A top 10 player, or you're like a top 3 player in your position.
Okay.
And if you're elite, you have more than one elite trait that makes you an elite player. Like to me, I think Trae Young is elite, but he's not a superstar. Because Trae Young he's an elite playmaker and an elite scorer. And that's my criteria for elite. And that's why people need to stop throwing that word elite around, because it gets misused like crazy. And superstar, like people really underrate how good you have to be a superstar. There's I don't even know if there's not even 10 superstars in the league, in my opinion.
Nah, give me all your superstars. Give me all your superstars right now.
The superstars, obviously, we got the usuals: Bron, KD, Steph, Giannis. You got
Kawhi,
yeah.
Luka.
Luka.
Joel Embiid.
Yes, Joel and Jokic. That's pretty much it.
Wait. Dame.
Okay, we'll throw Dame in the
superstar. Okay. Sure. And what about Jimmy Butler?
Heck no.
Oh, okay. You still not over that whole.
Jimmy Butler is in the upper tier of elite. He's not a superstar though.
Okay. James Harden used to be, but we all know he's definitely not a superstar.
Is he even a top 5 shooting guard at this point?
Ooh, probably not. I'm not gonna lie, probably not. But so how many superstars is that?
That's 9.
That's 9 superstars. So I would say there's around 9 or
3
10
people knocking on the superstar door, which would be Ja, Tatum, and players like that. Maybe Trae Young.
Okay, that's fair. So it's around like 9 or 10. Say
AD,
9 or 10.
AD is kicked out the superstar combo.
I would say his superstar card is suspended. Is that fair to say? It's suspended.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
He has a chance to get it back, but he has to do a lot of things in order to retain it. So yeah, it's suspended for right now, indefinitely, but you can still get it back. I need to see, a span of games where he's just putting up 25 and 10, blocking like 3 shots, playing good defense again before I give AD that superstar label. Like when Nick and Wright, he had that whole club superstar thing, and he kicked AD out of the club. Like that's a great representation of Anthony Davis. Yeah, he's kicked out of the club right now. I don't agree with Chris Paul being in the club. Like everybody keeps saying Chris Paul is a superstar.
Chris Paul hasn't been a superstar in I don't know how long.
He hasn't been a superstar since he left the Clippers.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like I like Chris Paul and all, but he hasn't been a superstar since he left the Clippers. Just because you can elevate, sure, you can. You're one of the main reasons why the team is where it is, like in a winning environment, like with Oklahoma City, with Houston. And also right now with Phoenix, doesn't make you a superstar. Sure, you're valuable, but in terms of can you lead a squad to a championship? Like, can you be the number 1 option? No, that's not you at all. So
exactly.
So yeah, me personally, I agree with you on your superstar thing. There's like at least probably like 9 or 10 of them. And that's like the 10 best players in the NBA. I just look at it like that. But back to the Phoenix Suns, Chris Paul I think he only scored like maybe 10 or 11 points. I know
he scored 10 points and got them 10 points in like the 4th quarter when they was already down like 40 million points. I don't respect it.
I know that Devin Booker, I think he scored only 11 points. And one of the things that I noticed about the game is that the Mavericks, they trapped a lot, especially when it came to Devin Booker. And they also trapped a lot when it came to Chris Paul, or at least had another defender making sure that they are keying in on him. So it was definitely a lot of trapping. There was like one play where DeAndre Ayton, they're throwing him the ball, and they also made sure that they had 2 defenders right there. So it was definitely, Jason Kidd made it an emphasis to definitely trap a lot with their 3 best players. But that's still no excuse. You still have to win that game. You still have to adjust. Chris Paul, Devin Booker, you've been in the league for a minute. But I keep rambling on about those 2. DeAndre Ayton, I hate to say it, but you're soft.
Quitter.
You're soft. And here's the thing. You're the number 1 pick in the NBA draft, right? So there's a lot of expectations. You're in the same draft class as Luka and Trae Young. And a lot of people were saying that you were one of the most talented big men to come out of college in recent memory. Like they were comparing you to David Robinson. And so far, you haven't lived up to that projection. And so Monty Williams coming out saying, yo, it's an internal thing, that just gives me cause to pause, right? Like I'm looking at you like, internal, what does that mean? Like internal as in he just took himself out of the game pretty much. He was disengaged, because I'm looking at just defensively, and I see what he's talking about. Just constantly getting picked on switches. Luka, Spencer Dinwiddie was cooking him. Like it was just awful. completely awful. And I wouldn't be shocked if he didn't re-sign with the Suns and goes to another team, maybe the Spurs. I could see the Spurs
scenario.
I could see the Spurs getting him. But yeah, I think he's done. I think he's gone.
He's done in Phoenix. I don't see him coming back.
I don't think this relationship. I mean, it can be repaired because Monty Williams is a really good coach, and Chris Paul and Devin Booker, they're there and stuff. So they definitely have a good relationship with him. But I just think that he wants to. It just seems to me that he probably wants to prove a point that I'm not the reason why I didn't flourish in Phoenix. It was the system itself I had to sacrifice. So yeah, DeAndre Ayton remains to be seen. But I want to switch, not necessarily switch, but like transition a little bit, like with just Patrick Beverly. So Patrick Beverly has said a lot of things these past 2 days. Like I was watching him on Get Up today, and he was just going absolutely ridiculous with the whole James Harden thing, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But I want to talk about Chris Paul because he said a lot of things regarding Chris Paul that is very polarizing, very controversial. And he's pretty much talking about he said Chris Paul is a cone on defense. Chris Paul, what I forgot. What else did he say about Chris Paul? Do you remember anything else he said about Chris Paul?
He said people don't lose sleep when they gotta play Chris Paul, and that he's a cone, and that no one's scared of the Suns and stuff like that.
Yeah. Right. And then also, see, here's the thing. Those comments, right? I can't really say that I can just sort of disagree with him on that because I don't play in the NBA. I'm not in the league, so I can't definitively say how players feel about Chris Paul in general. But the comment that I disagree with, because I remember JJ Redick, I don't know if it was Get Up, I don't know if it was on First Take, but I think JJ Redick was talking about how Chris Paul is one of the greatest point guards of all time, whatever. And like Patrick Beverly, I don't think he necessarily said that he disagreed, but the way that he sort of sounded, the way that he was talking, it sounded like he was trying to disagree. And that right there, that's why I'm like, all right, now you just hating because Chris Paul, let's not get it twisted. Chris Paul is one of the greatest point guards of all time. Chris Paul is like in the top 10 all time of assists. I don't know how, like made all defense like 9 times, more times than you, and did score 41 points on your squad last year, Game 6. I just want to put that out there. So yeah, how you feel about the whole Patrick Beverly situation?
Hey man, he's entitled to his own opinion. I mean, the Chris Paul slander, it could have been over. Some people think it's overboard. I mean, I'm not gonna argue with him. You know what I'm saying? He brought up some valid points. They treat him differently. The media treats Chris Paul like he's some kind of like some type of foster kid or something. Like he needs to be defended constantly. You never hear the media going on Chris Paul, but when it's players like Giannis and LeBron, they got everything to say about them. But Chris Paul goes out and drops a stinker in closeout games and blows 6-0 to 2-0-2 leads in the playoffs, and then chokes leads and stuff like that. Where's the media to be found? They don't say anything. He's like, oh man, yeah, Devin Booker didn't. Like, they blame everyone but Chris Paul. So it's finally nice to see someone like, man, forget all that. You need to look at the main man right there. You're the one running the offense. Where was he at?
I do.
And then you got Matt Barnes talking about that was disrespectful. Man, ain't nobody trying to hear all that. Kwame Brown called you out for a fade and all that. You wasn't about none of that. So I ain't trying to hear what you think is disrespectful. Y'all disrespect players on a daily basis on these networks. And we in no type of, man, forget all that. We ain't hearing it.
I'll say this because
crying on the media, man. Trying to hear all that.
Chris Paul has lost 4 straight Game 7s. So that is definitely interesting stat, which is that's insane.
Exactly. Imagine if that was LeBron though. And I'm the last person to be on LeBron's defense. But imagine if LeBron lost 4 straight Game 7. See what the media do to him. Since it's the point guard,
that's a good point.
They don't got nothing to say.
I will say that because I I looked at some film, and listen, every time that Patrick Beverly played in a game where Chris Paul was also playing, he wasn't going off like that. I'll admit Patrick Beverly. The reason why Patrick Beverly is, not so high on Chris Paul is because number one, if you look at Game 6 last year, Patrick Beverly wasn't guarding Chris Paul at all. I don't know why, because he was guarding Devin Booker.
In foul trouble, probably. I don't know.
No, he was guarding Devin Booker, and they were also in the beginning of the game. They were playing a lot of zone as well. So, but here's my thing about Patrick Beverly: if you see Chris Paul is going off, and it's relatively a close game in the third quarter, why not tell the coach, you know what, Devin Booker not really going off right now. Let me switch on Chris Paul because this dude is killing us. See, I don't know why he didn't do that. Maybe he tried, and maybe Ty Lue was like, nah, I'm going to stick to what we're doing right now. But me personally, Patrick Beverly should have done that. If you really think you can guard Chris Paul like that, why not switch on him instead of Devin Booker, instead of staying on Devin Booker? That's all I got to say on that matter. You know what I'm saying? Because you could have done that. But nah, you're just going to stay on Devin Booker. So yeah, and then also like Devin Booker wasn't that. I'm trying to remember that Clippers series. I don't think Devin Booker really went off that Clippers series. Am I wrong about that?
He did all right.
Game 1, it was game 1. He went off. I think he scored like 40 points. I believe it was. I don't know what he did in game 2. I think that might have been a Chris Paul game, but he was okay-ish. He wasn't like going crazy or anything like that. So I could see Beverly's point on that matter, because both of those players, when he guards them, they don't really go off like that. So I'm not going to really refute anything like that. But the next comment that he made, I am definitely going to refute, because it just shows his bias. Like, that's one of the things he has, just a major bias for, like James Harden, and that's the fact that he said he would pay James Harden the supermax, and I'm like, what the hell are you talking about?
Y'all ain't peep what he did though. It's he's following the golden rule.
I saw that on Twitter. Yeah. I understand that, but you still have to be objective at the end of the day.
Man, I'm not about to take money out of another man's pocket.
Man, get out of here, bro. He's trying. Get out of here. Like, you have to be objective at the end of the day. Now, he's an
NBA player. He could say whatever he wants.
Yeah.
He knows the circumstances.
Yeah.
He knows what's at stake here. Hundreds of millions of dollars at stake here. I ain't about to ruin another man's pockets. And that, especially if I was his former teammate. You crazy.
But he didn't have to say, well, he could have, I wouldn't say neglect the question, right? You have to answer the question. Well, you don't have to answer the question, but you know what I'm saying? Like, you're on a show, expected to answer the question. But he could have like worded it in a way where he could have been like, I'm not trying to like take money out of a man's pocket, like we say, right? But he could have protected him in a way, but also still been a little objective. Like, this man was not objective at all. Like, he sounded ridiculous when he talked. Like, come on now. He watches the film. He's slandering Chris Paul, for crying out loud. He watches the film. He knows that James Harden is not who he once was. So just be objective. You don't have to say I wouldn't pay. You don't have to say that, but at least acknowledge that James Harden has lost a step. He didn't even acknowledge it. He was just like 22, 8, and 10. Like, bro, I thought this was eye test. I thought this was, why are you bringing up analytics? I thought we were about the eye test at the end of the day. But now you want to bring up analytics. Okay. All right.
I can't blame him for protecting his fellow man, you know what I'm saying?
But it's just biased. Like, it's just like, would he protect Chris Paul?
Obviously he was being biased.
Would he protect Chris Paul?
But is that really? See, this is the thing. We bringing up stuff that didn't happen, so it doesn't matter.
Would he protect Chris Paul? He protect Devin Booker? Like, come on now.
Possibly.
Fuck out of here. Bro. Patrick Beverly was having beef with Devin Booker as well. Like, him and Devin Booker don't like each other as well.
Most people in the league don't like the Suns. They don't respect them. Did you see how, like, I knew the Suns was low-key cooked when like the Pelicans wasn't scared of them at all. Like Brandon Ingram, Herb, they was getting in their face and all. Like I was like, oh goodness, the Suns they punks for real. I was like, yeah. I ain't believing them.
They're very finesse. One thing I'll say though, JJ Redick he brought up a good point in terms of a certain stat, and that is that the Suns are one of the lowest in terms of, you know how like high percentage like shots, like you get layups and threes, like they're one of the lowest, and one of the worst in the league in terms of getting threes and layups and fouls, right? Because if you look at some of these top teams, some of the shots you need, dribble penetration, get into the lane, kicking it out to the open man in the corner. Like you see with Ja Morant, you see with Stephen Curry, you see with other guys like that, even Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown. Like you see all these different guys, they'll be able to get into the lane and stuff and get those easy sort of baskets, right? The Suns, they work most of their time in the mid-range area. You see with Devin Booker, you see with Chris Paul, and these, as we all know with analytics, the analytical people, they look at the mid-range shot as sort of long twos, low percentage shots, and they shoot a lot of those instead of the high percentage shots. And JJ Redick just made that they made a really good point in that nature. And I feel like that's one of the reasons why they lost, a big reason why they lost against the Mavericks in that way.
They relied too much on system. At some point in the playoffs, you need guys that can go get a bucket if someone gets trapped. Like if your star player gets trapped, which Devin Booker did, you need another guy to create a shot and get a bucket. They would have benefited significantly from a guy that can create their own shot. Like even if it's someone like Eric Gordon or something like that, somebody that can just get you a quick bucket. They don't got to be Jalen Brunson or nothing. They just got to be sort of like shoot maybe a KCP or something. Like I don't know.
Hell no, not a KC. Stop it.
I'm a Wizards fan. I'll watch the games.
How about Spencer Dinwiddie
get a bucket? I mean, anywho.
Yeah.
Anywho.
But DeAndre Ayton, he's just soft. Like it's weird because we were sort of prisoner of the moment when it came to him sort of cooking Anthony Davis. But if we really like look at his totality of his career, like he hasn't really, in terms of like his skill set, in terms of like being that scorer that people thought he was, he's just not that guy, especially for that size. And yeah, Suns are really they're soft, they're too finesse, and the Mavs took full advantage of that. But yeah.
Let me tell you something. There's no reason DeAndre Ayton shouldn't have at least averaged 15 shot attempts against the Mavericks. Dude, Dwight Powell, he would not be able to guard DeAndre Ayton. And Monty Williams, this is his problem. He was too focused on getting Chris Paul the opportunity, him running the offense, instead of just giving it to the mismatch. DeAndre Ayton should have been dominating this series, but they literally didn't go to him. I think DeAndre Ayton, when he was on the bench, he looked over to Monty, he said, I can't pass the ball to myself.
Yeah, what's interesting is that last year, I think it was against the Clippers, when the Suns started to feature DeAndre Ayton more, is when they really started to flourish. In the playoffs, if you notice, once DeAndre Ayton started to get some points going, that's when the Suns are at their best, getting those easy baskets. But DeAndre Ayton, he has to be assertive. Like he has to let them know, like, give me the ball. And he also needs to improve his game as well. Like you have to show the coach that you're somebody that they can run plays for, because they don't run plays for him that much. He's really a guy, Chris Paul, he runs the PNR, gives him off the screen and roll, whatever, and he'll get a basket, or maybe he might have he'd do like a little hook shot or get like an offensive rebound and he goes and puts it in, you know what I'm saying? No homo pause. Like Capella in a way. So he has to prove to the coaching staff, to his teammates, that he is a person that you can run plays with. And he hasn't so far.
I mean, man, he'll play better on whatever team he goes to. Some people say Charlotte. I mean, possibly. I wonder. Yeah, it depends. I guess he could go to Charlotte. Maybe do they still pay Miles Bridges if they get Ayton? I don't know.
it remains to be seen because before Chris Paul arrived, he wasn't doing nothing. I didn't hear anything from DeAndre Ayton. So if it's really because of the system of the Suns, then hey, albeit, but it remains to be seen. Yeah, Patrick Beverly's comments. The only thing I disagree with is the James Harden thing because he's just way too biased. I get that he doesn't want a guy to lose any money, but he could have at least like be honest. Like, listen, James Harden is not the same guy, instead of saying, oh, well, he's coming off a hamstring and he's in a new system, so he has to adjust. Like, I ain't trying to hear all that bullshit, man. Like, you could clearly tell. Okay, so now that that's taken care of, I want to talk about we have a game today, and that is the Boston Celtics and the Miami Heat. And so this series right here is a very interesting series because both teams have been playing pretty well in the playoffs. I would say Boston, they have the better overall roster, in my opinion. I just think that them adding Al Horford, getting Daniel Tice in the trade, and also the development of Grant Williams and some other players definitely gives them the edge in terms of the depth. So I think that by the time we go back to the studio on Saturday, I believe it'll be a split 1-1 Boston and Miami. How do you feel?
Yeah, I can definitely see that happening because Miami, I just don't think they have enough. They don't have enough to me personally. And the Celtics continue to play aggressive and play physical against Miami. They should be able to get through, especially against someone like Tyler Hero. You put pressure on him and he can fold pretty easily. And I just don't see them faring pretty well against because the Celtics have so much firepower. And if JT gets going, then yeah, good luck with that. Because I don't think Jimmy Butler can match that kind of output that Jason Tatum has.
I just think that because
since he plays both ends of the floor so much.
Yeah, I listened to NBA radio and just one show I listened to, and they talked about the Miami Heat, and they talked about them not being battle tested. This team right here this year, talk about them not being battle tested enough because they haven't gone against like really like good competition. Like you see with Boston, they went against Milwaukee, they went against who did they go? Nets. Oh, the Nets with Kyrie and Kevin. Yeah, I get it. The parts around them weren't very good, but still Kyrie and Kevin Durant at the end of the day. So you have to definitely put your antennas up because they can go for 50 any night. So you see that, but then you go with Miami and the whole, listen, I like Atlanta, but it wasn't their year. They had that nice run last year, that Cinderella story, but overall they don't have enough. And then you go to the 76ers. We all know with James Harden, Joel Embiid with the mask, with the knee, and he was just banged up. And then do I really need to go back and revisit Tobias Harris and just his defense atrocity, just that atrocious defense as well? And then Matisse Thybulle being an offensive liability, being honestly, he's overrated as a defender because he is very he's not disciplined on defense. Like he takes too many chances, and the Miami Heat took a lot of advantage in that. So yeah, for the most part, I would say the Miami Heat, I agree that they're not battle tested per se this year alone. So I'm gonna go with the Celtics in the series. How about you?
Yeah, I'm going to Celtics here. I just seen from what they've seen versus the competition, I've seen more from the Celtics than I have from the Heat. Wow. As far as being able to get those tough wins and playing better team basketball. Because once the Celtics hot, it's just good luck with that. I really don't see like for the Heat a guy to really just go off like how Grant Williams can and those kind of role players to really step up in the moment. Yeah, the Heat have home court, which is great. They play very well at home, but like I don't know, the Celtics, they just playing different right now.
I'm surprised.
The Heat ain't no slouch, though. The Heat ain't no slouch. But
the way you were sounding on Saturday, I thought you were going to go with the Heat because you don't like the Celtics.
I don't.
But you just like, man, I'm a Celtics guy.
I hope I'm wrong.
Yeah. I look at just you go back to the bubble, right? Go back to the bubble, and I was watching film on Game 6 of the Eastern Conference Finals, and you look at just the personnel difference what the Celtics were and what they are now. And Kemba Walker, he's not on the team no more, so the Miami Heat can't hunt Kemba Walker. The Celtics didn't have Al Horford during the time, so that's definitely a big addition for them because he's definitely good defense. He's still a good defender in terms of protecting the rim, and also he can score as well, so that's definitely a big help. Grant Williams, he was a rookie. He wasn't really doing much. You know what I mean? He wasn't really hitting shots or anything like that. He was just a big body just sitting there doing nothing. And I forgot who. Oh, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum. They weren't as good as they are now. They weren't the two-way players that they are now. And Marcus Smart, he's, I would say, a better scorer than he was in those times. And he's Defensive Player of the Year now. So it's just a lot of different things that went into, the bubble. And now they just gotten a lot better. And Imeku Udoka is the coach now. I believe he's a better coach than Brad Stevens. So, yeah, I just look at it, and the Miami Heat, they don't have Goran Dragic, who, in my opinion, is better than Kyle Lowry right now. So, yeah, Miami Heat, I just don't see them winning. Agree with
that? Yeah, I can agree. I think the Celtics just better top to bottom than the Heat.
I would go
Heat, they're good. Yeah.
I would say
Bam needs to have a huge series.
Yeah, he really does. Because to me, Tyler Hero. Listen, I'm not a believer in Tyler Hero because if you look at the stats, Tyler Hero hasn't really been doing much in the playoffs. He's been very inconsistent, and that's the third option, and he's a sixth man, so that's very concerning. Kyle Lowry's not playing. Bam Adebayo, he's nice, but he's not. I wouldn't say he's a 25 per game, 22. He's not like a 20-20 guy. So, and they're a half-court team. They don't go to fast breaks a lot. They're a very slow-paced team. So, yeah, I got this going to 6.
Yeah, I'll say 6 is yes. I'm gonna go 7.
7.
Just because of entertainment, just for entertainment purposes.
So you think Boston wins in Miami?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully the Heat sweep them.
I got Miami, and I got the Celtics in 6. So yeah. So after that, let's talk about another series. Let's talk about the Warriors and the Mavericks.
Other series.
Right. Let's talk. Well, yeah, I mean, it is the other series. So let's talk about the other series, and that is the Warriors and the Mavericks. And Luka, he was cooking the number 1 seed, the Suns, and now they're going to play the 3rd seed and the Warriors, who just came from playing the Grizzlies without Ja Morant. I think the key to the series from the Warriors side defensively is going to be 3 players, and that is Draymond Green, Andrew Wiggins, and Kevon Looney. And I'm not going to even say Klay Thompson because I think those 3 guys are going to be primarily defending Luka. And Andrew Wiggins, he's going to have a tall task, literally a tall task of defending Luka because just looking what Mikal Bridges did, it's going to be a nightmare. He's probably not going to get a lot of sleep. The only person that I feel like can have a chance of really challenging Luka is Draymond Green because of his because he's very strong. Like, he's not a skinny guy. He has a lot of weight. You know what I mean? So I feel like he can sort of challenge Luka a little bit. And then Kevon Looney, because you can't have Luka just going to the rim just consistently. And then also in switches as well. Luka, he likes to just attack bigs on switches. So those are the three key players on defense that I'm looking at for the Warriors. And then offensively, Stephen Curry has to be the best player in this series. Like, bar none, he has to show up. He cannot be the second best player like he was against the Grizzlies when Ja Morant outplayed him. Like, no, that cannot happen. Stephen Curry needs to remind people that he is still the man. He's still the top dog up in this joint in the Western Conference when there's no LeBron James. So Stephen Curry has to continue to do his thing, because if not, then it's going to be bad. It's going to be bad for the Warriors.
See, we have differing opinions on the offensive side of the ball. You know what thing needs to show up?
Klay Thompson.
Draymond Green.
Draymond, what?
Let me tell you. No, hear me out. Let me tell you something. The Suns. The Mavericks are going to give the Warriors going to give Steph Curry the Devin Booker. They're going to trap him as soon as he gets the ball. And we need Draymond to take those open shots and open drive opportunities when it's presented to him instead of trying to be the playmaker. We need you to shoot and score, because if you don't, y'all are going to get blown out the gym, because I'm telling you, they're not let Steph Curry get anything.
Wouldn't that be more
every time?
Wouldn't that be more Andrew Wiggins? Wouldn't that be more Andrew Wiggins that we should be sort of expecting, because he's going to get a lot of those wide open looks, and he's going to need to be able to knock those shots down, because Draymond, more times than not, more likely he's not going to be wide open in the 3-point line. He's going to be probably in the paint most of the time. So I'm looking at Andrew Wiggins. If you're going to say that, I'm looking at Andrew Wiggins more than anything.
No, see, this is the thing. I watched very closely in that Memphis. I seen a lot of times Draymond Green caught the ball at the free throw line, and instead of going to try to create, like go and maybe shoot a little floater or something like that, like what most bigs do, or just a little hook shot, he's literally looking to pass the ball. I'm like, dude, take the lane, shoot the 15-footer. Like, what are you doing? And he needs to take those kind of shots. They need to at least respect him on offense, because if they don't, they're just going to continue to trap and hope Andrew Wiggins and Klay Thompson turn into bricks like they have in the past. I'm telling you, it's not going. They need Draymond to show up, and they need Steph to somehow create his own shot.
I think the good thing for the Warriors is that, see, the thing about the Suns with Devin Booker and Chris Paul, they don't move a lot. They don't move a lot like with Steph and with Klay. You know, they'll move off screens, get open off the ball and stuff like that. That's not Chris Paul and Devin Booker's game necessarily. So the Warriors have that at their advantage, and Steve Kerr should be coming back from that, COVID and all that other stuff. And Mike Brown is not going to be coaching, because my goodness, Mike Brown is just horrible.
The Kings should be ripping up that contract they was going to offer him.
Yes.
Well, I think he already actually signed a contract.
Yeah, he did, unfortunately. Well, actually, fortunately, because I don't want the Kings to be good. But yeah.
You were Lakers fan, I forgot.
Yeah. So I think the Warriors have that in their favor, because Steph and Klay are so good off the ball, unselfish.
A home court.
They have Jordan Poole, who has been have we seen in the past, who can get numbers.
Jordan Poole needs to have a big series.
Yes, he does need to have a big series. So those are going to be the guys. Andrew Wiggins needs to show up, because he's definitely going to get a lot of wide open looks. It's going to really be pivotal for him. But the Mavericks, I just don't see them winning this one. I just think that the Warriors, from a defensive perspective, with Draymond Green and Andrew Wiggins, I believe they'll show up on the defensive end. And I think that the system of Golden State, the way that they sort of with Steph and Klay in them, I think that they'll be able to figure out a way to score like with the Suns, with the Mavericks did with the Suns, whatever. They'll make adjustments in that area. So I just feel like it's not going to be the same mistakes. I'll say that.
And the Warriors need to limit the turnovers, because the amount of possessions they just give away is ridiculous. And they also need to play faster, because the Mavs are like nearly last in the league in pace, because they like to play slow. They like to do things like that. So the Warriors need to play up tempo and play fast so they could wear out the Mavs a little bit, especially Luka. You know, he ain't the most conditioned player. He will definitely start giving up open lanes in the fourth if he gets too tired. So they need to play with speed.
Would you play tight covers on Luka?
No. Because see, the reason is Luka isn't going to just blow by you, right? So you really don't need to be all. You can just play off, just respect, play him modestly, and then like towards later in the game, then you can blitz him.
Would you because you want to tire him out? That's definitely essential. Right. Because, like you said,
make him do as much as possible. Lock up the other guys and make him get majority of the workload.
Would you have some of the Warriors players who are guarding him? Would you have them like sometimes guarding him 94 feet, or you just say, nah, let's just guard him at the half court?
If EP comes back, I would employ that strategy. But with the personnel they got now,
yeah, you probably got a good point there. Yeah, we'll see. I have the Warriors in 7.
Dubs in 6.
Wow, you have them winning in Dallas. Okay. So yeah, let's transition. I would say, I guess we could talk a little bit about that tweet that you want to regarding AJ Brown.
Yes. So I'm on the Cowboys side of Twitter quite often, and shout out to content creator on YouTube named Vacha Lombardi. He's one of the goats of the Cowboys Twitter and Cowboys YouTube platform. But yes, he said in an episode of his show, he said that AJ Brown is an elite. And people, the Eagles fans, they was on him some crazy because he said he wasn't elite. And I was like, well, what did he say wrong? Because to me, elite is like you're the best of the best in your position.
Like top
to
5.
Me, elite is Jamar Chase, DeAndre Hopkins, Devontae Adams, Justin Jefferson, Cooper Kupp,
Tyreek Hill.
Tyreek Hill. Yeah, those are my elite receivers. Are you taking AJ Brown over any of those 6 people I just named?
Absolutely not.
Exactly. So I'm like, what did he say wrong? I know he's a Cowboys fan, Eagles fans. We hate each other, but still, like, he didn't say anything wrong. Do you agree?
I think that the term elite, like we mentioned this off screen, but the term elite has been used loosely, right? When it comes to wide receivers, there's different categories. There's elite, there is really good, I would say, and then there's good. And then there's average,
decent,
average,
trash.
Decent, and then pretty much replaceable. I wouldn't say trash, but like replaceable, you could say. So yeah, AJ Brown falls under the really good. The same with Terry McLaurin. The same with
the DJ Moores.
DJ Moore, DK Metcalf,
the Amari Coopers.
I would say Amari Cooper's good.
You're smoking dust. Amari Cooper's very good.
No, he's not very good. I'm not putting Amari Cooper in the very good. He's definitely taking a step back. I'm not putting Amari Cooper on very good. I'm sorry. After putting up, what was the 800 yards? Like, no, stop it. As the number one option. Oh yeah, I forgot about CeeDee Lamb. He's very good. So yeah, I'll put CeeDee Lamb in the very good as well. In terms of elite, I agree. Is Keenan Allen elite?
Heck no.
Okay, so he's in a very good.
Yeah, he's in a very good.
He's in a very good as well, and that's how.
Oh wait, is Mike Evans elite?
Oh yeah, he's elite. Yeah, he's elite. Chris Godwin is really good. Okay. Yeah, he's elite.
I forgot about Mike. I just forgot because my man's locked him up, and I haven't seen him on the screen in a minute since that game. I was like, hey, he couldn't get nothing on my man Diggs Island.
Hey, I got nothing to say about that. But yeah, Mike Evans is elite. Yeah, I might going to go that way with Trayvon Diggs. We could talk about that at a later time. But yeah, I want to talk about some other NFL news. And I was watching Get Up, and they were sort of debating the AFC West and talk. And a lot of teams, there's some people that was like, okay, Chiefs. Matter of fact, it was one person that said Chiefs. A lot of other people said like Chargers and stuff, and maybe like one person said the Raiders, but nobody said the Denver Broncos. Why is that? Why are people underrating the Denver Broncos?
See, when you think about it, the Broncos, they're a good team, but like, does Russell Wilson really move the needle at this age? Does he really move the needle?
Yes, he still does.
Yes. It depends how great offensive line plays. That's really what it comes down to. Because he had weapons in Seattle and DK and Lockett and Gerald Everett and people like that, but they still couldn't get much of anything done because the offensive line was terrible and the defense was subpar at best. That's because Jamal Adams is overrated. But anywho, but yeah, it depends how the Broncos offensive line blocks and defense plays. That's pretty much it.
I heard that the defense is pretty good, especially since they added Randy Gregory.
Traitor.
I forgot who else they added, but they said it. And then they're getting back. I forgot that defensive end. He's like really good. They drafted
Justin Simmons.
Nah, not Justin Simmons. It was that other guy they drafted like maybe 2 or 3 years ago. He's a defensive end. I forgot his name.
Oh, end. I thought you said back. Defensive end.
He's a pass rusher.
Chubb.
Yeah, Chubb. Bradley Chubb. Yeah, he's really good. So
he's linebacker, but okay.
My bad. I thought pass rusher. I was thinking pass rusher. Yeah. So yeah, they had Patrick Surtain, who was a really good rookie corner for them as well. So they have some really good pieces offensively as well. They have a nice 2-back system. They have quality receivers. Unfortunately, they had to get rid of their top tight end, Noah Fant, but they still have quality players in that position. So I just think that Russell Wilson, they were 7-10 last year. I think they can flip that 7-10 to maybe a 10-7, 11-6 sort of record. I'm not sold on the Raiders. I'm not sold. I'm sorry.
I kind of am. I think the foundation is definitely there. And their offense literally just improved this offseason.
I'm not sold on the Raiders because I'm not sold on their head coach. That's number one. I need to remember, you know who the head coach is.
Who?
Josh McDaniels.
Oh.
Yeah. I'm not sold on the head coach. I need to see some things from the head coach before I even believe in the Raiders. And then listen, Derek Carr, I like Derek Carr, but he's just not in that upper echelon of QBs. Like, he's okay.
But do you really need an upper echelon QB these days?
But when you look at a division like this, I just can't see him elevating. I just can't see him elevating his play in this level of competition. I'm just sorry. I just don't believe it. It remains to be seen. I have to see it with my own eyes. And then I just look at the Raiders as a team that, yeah, they have a lot of brand names, right? They have a lot of like a Chandler Jones, Devontae Adams, et cetera.
Mad Max.
Yeah. But overall, in terms of the team itself, I just don't believe they'll be able to. I don't think they're going to be well coached. I'm just not a believer in Josh McDaniels. How many times have we seen a team with so much talent not be able to get the goods done? It's happened so many times in history. So I just think that's the Raiders in general. Now, the Chargers, that's where I'm a believer. I like the Chargers a lot. I think last year they were right at the door. They were knocking on the door. They just was unable to win against the Raiders last year. I think that's because of their youth, their inexperience with Justin Herbert. But now, did they draft the offensive lineman in the first round?
Fault they lost.
Did they? I think
the Chargers. They went. They didn't draft no lineman. They went. They went. I think they got. Dang, who did they get?
They went corner or something. I forget.
I think they might have got McDuffie.
No, that was the Chiefs.
That was the Chiefs that got McDuffie. Oh, yeah. Okay, so I
forgot who they got.
Did they go safety?
I really don't. I'm about to look at it right now because give me 1 second. I'm about to look at it right now because let me see. Chargers NFL draft.
I think they went Dax Hill.
I think they drafted they drafted a guard. I think they did. Yeah, they drafted a guard in the first round.
They did?
Yeah, Zion Johnson from Boston College. I knew they drafted an offensive lineman. Okay. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good pick.
I like the Chargers. They have a lot of talent. You know, they added Khalil Mack. They still have Keenan Allen and Mike Williams. They have some good, nice backs with Austin Eckler. So yeah, I like the Chargers. I think Justin Herbert.
The Chargers too. They got Khalil Mack on defense now.
But I still have the Kansas City Chiefs. And here's
winning the division.
Actually, you know what? Oh man, this is hard. This is tough. It's between the Chargers and the Chiefs to me. It's between the Chargers and the Chiefs. And I think that
I say Raiders and Chiefs.
Nah, I'm not a believer in the Raiders. If I had to choose, I'm gonna go with the Chargers. I'm a believer in Justin Herbert. I like their roster. They're getting back Darren James. I'm just a believer, man. I'm not a believer in the Raiders. Derek Carr, I'm just not sold. Josh McDaniels, I'm not sold as him as a head coach. So, yeah, I just like the Chargers. I think it's a if you recall, right, with the NFC West and when I believe the Rams and it might have been either the 49ers or the Cardinals started to like get really better. The Seattle Seahawks, they took like, I wouldn't say like a big decline. I wouldn't say it's a big decline, but they definitely, like the Legion and Boom, they lost a few players, but they still were competitive. They still made the playoffs. They still won 11 games, but they didn't win a division.
Lost to the Cowboys.
Yeah, whatever. So I'm looking at the Chiefs, and I think it's a Seattle situation where they're still going to be really good. They're still going to be excellent. They're probably going to win 12 games. But ultimately, they're not going to win the division because I think the Chargers and just their offense, their defense.
The Chargers going to win more than 12 games?
I think they'll win. I think they might tie in the record column, but I think division record wise, I think that the Chargers will have more wins.
People overrate the Chargers every year. I've seen it for the past 2 years.
So you believe in Derek Carr? The Chargers. You believe in Derek Carr and Josh McDaniels over Justin Herbert?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Did you see some of the stuff Staley was doing towards the end of the season for them Chargers? I was like, what is he doing?
Okay. Yo, I remember with the Bengals. Remember the first year with the Bengals? People were looking at Zach Taylor, and they were questioning him with some calls. And now they're in the Super Bowl. I'm just saying. You know, you have them growing pains, but this year I like the Chargers. I like the chances. I like Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert is that guy.
Yeah, Justin Herbert is he's good. He's like really good, but like I like the Raiders more.
Okay, all right, that's where we disagree.
Especially Devontae Adams is a good because he's been on the door of a Super Bowl. He's been knocking on the door. He knows what it takes to win, and that type of guy really can help the culture and really lead it to like Khalil Mack was a good acquisition for the there was the Chargers, but he hasn't really been like on the front door like, hey, I'm almost at the Super Bowl.
There was another really good receiver that that's been knocking on the door that knows how to win, but didn't succeed in Oakland. I mean, not Oakland, in Las Vegas.
Okay, you talk about Antonio Brown?
Yeah.
See, Devontae Adams ain't Antonio Brown.
All right,
he's actually normal.
Okay, all right, you're right about that. But yeah, we'll have to agree to disagree on that one. transitioning, we've been talking about Kyrie a little bit these past few weeks, but I felt like this one was kind of interesting. He was on the I Am an Athlete podcast, right, with Brandon Marshall, LaShawn McCoy. They sort of I don't know that whole situation.
Brandon Marshall ain't on there no more. Oh, we know, yes, he is.
Yeah,
I was thinking of the
other guys. The other guys that sort of went to do their own
they
thing.
on pivot now. Yeah.
Chad Ochocinco and Brandon Marshall, they're still doing it, and they interviewed Kyrie Irving. And when I went, first of all, I went on YouTube and I was like, premiering. I saw Kyrie. I was like, what? So let me check this out. I was like, okay, and he talked about his lineage, obviously his religion, and just his native like American and all that other stuff. And then he talked about his conversation with Kobe. But then he talked about something very interesting, and that was LeBron James and the Cavs. And he talked about just where he was in his life and why he had to leave. And he said that just he went to front office and he asked them about their plans, and he listened to what their future plans are, and he realized that their plans don't align with mine. And so that's when he sort of requested a trade, and then he wasn't able to relay that news to LeBron, even though why did you wait so long for them to be able to leak that information? Like, dude literally went to the front office, right? Had a conversation, requested a trade, then went to China, right? That's probably, I don't know how long that was. I don't know.
It's like an 18-hour flight, I think.
I'm just saying in terms of he should have clarified like in terms of like the timeline and everything, because I don't know exactly like did he immediately go to China afterwards? Like I don't know, but me personally, something that big, requesting a trade, I feel like you should relay that news to LeBron immediately, instead of waiting, some time before you finally get to him, because you know how the NBA works. But let me not get down that road. But he talked about just, I don't know if it's regret per se, but he said that if he was more mature at the time, if he knew more about himself, because he said at the time he didn't really know himself that much. Like he was very isolated. He was very isolated, and he said that if he knew who he was, knew about his lineage, and was mentally stronger, that they would have won more championships. Now, he didn't definitively say that he would have stayed with Cleveland, but he said that they would have won more championships. Now, I disagree with that. I disagree with that because Golden State they had Kevin Durant. Like, you're not beating them with Kevin Durant. So I don't know what you're talking about. But it seemed like what he was trying to say is that he would have stayed with Cleveland with LeBron if he was the man that he is now. That's what it sounded like to me. What are your thoughts on his whole comments? You have any comments on the situation? Oh man, Brian, I think he froze. Oh man, Brian. No. We lost Brian. It's all good. Give me 1 second, guys. Let's see. Your video froze. It's all good, guys. I'm about to try to see. Yeah. Here we back, guys. But yeah, I think what Kyrie was trying to say is that he wouldn't have necessarily requested a trade if he was the man that he is now. What's good, Brian? What's good?
Man, I don't know why my freaking 5G internet went out. I had to switch to the regular one.
Hey, it's all good. But do you remember the question? So, like, how do you feel about Kyrie's comments regarding the LeBron and the Cleveland situation?
To be honest, he could be telling the truth. I mean, I don't doubt that he went and met with the front office, but I'm kind of questioning how he went about the process. Like, wouldn't it make sense to go talk to LeBron first, then go meet with the team? He'd be hey, bro, I'm about to go meet with the management, see what they got in store for. Maybe he could have possibly tagged along, and maybe y'all could have developed or suggested any changes within the future plans. So I'm just like, I don't know. I think he really just wanted his own team. He was probably tired of being LeBron under LeBron's shadow. He wanted to prove that he was the man because I think he probably felt betrayed by Cleveland because they probably drafted Kyrie. Oh yeah, you going in? We got you. You're going to be this for Cleveland. You will be this, and then they bring LeBron back, and it's like, oh well, okay, now you play second fiddle to LeBron. I don't think he appreciated that, so he probably wanted to get a new change of scenery, and they probably told him that we're going to continue with the LeBron thing. We're going to let him try to build up the roster. And he was probably like, I thought I was the guy. You told me during draft night I was the guy. So he probably wanted to go on a new team and be the man. It just didn't work out, unfortunately. So maybe he's like, maybe I could have put my ego aside and then tried to see how my career could have got better winning wise. So that's what I think his whole perspective is.
Well, to clarify, because he did talk about that. He said he wanted to explore the NBA. That's a quote. So he wanted to explore the NBA. So he really, you could say that, yeah, he wanted to have his own team. He wanted to be the number one option. You could say that is definitely the case because Brandon Marshall and them sort of touched on it and he didn't deny it or anything like that. So pretty much that probably was the case. But also, I think another thing that he really touched on, I believe because he mentioned Tristan Thompson, Kevin Love, and Amon Shumpert, right? And just those players being there or not being there. And I think that the front office probably told him that those guys may not be there. And he likes having those guys around, having the team around. So maybe he wanted to run it back with those people. And they said, nah, we probably not going to run it back. And so he was like, okay, well, if y'all are not going to run it back with those people, then I'm going to be heading out of here because y'all, he literally said, like, because you guys are like sort of depleting the roster, right? And so he just thought that the way the situation is going is that the guys that he has been playing with aren't going to be there no more. And that possibly, like you said, LeBron was probably on his way out as well. So he was like, you know what? Let me get out of here. Let me explore the NBA. Let me get my own team. And that's pretty much what it was. It wasn't as, you see the reports back then, they were pretty accurate. Now he said that him and LeBron never had beef, that there was never a problem. I can't really refute that at all. He said that because remember, if you recall, the next year, Kyrie called LeBron when LeBron was on the Lakers, and he talked to him and said like, yo, I didn't realize how difficult it is to be the leader of the team, being the number one option of the team. And he literally talked about that on the podcast. So yeah, I just think that everything that the reports have been saying regarding Kyrie leaving is pretty much true.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I think so. I think he's just trying to save a little face to make him. I mean, it's you're NBA, but I mean, it's okay to be like selfish and want stuff for yourself, but don't try to, twist the narrative into say making yourself be the angel, because I just don't respect it.
Yeah, well,
salute Kyrie though.
Yeah, salute Kyrie. Hopefully he plays more and doesn't sit out half the season. Yeah, remains to be seen. Is there anything else you want to discuss?
Actually, yeah, I do want to discuss something. So there's a lot of chatter around the league, well, mostly around the NFC, and no one knows who's the definitive favorites are in the NFC. Well, I guess you could say AFC too. There's no definitive favorite in the AFC either. So I'm just wondering, the NFC to me is wide open. So who do you think will be the 7 playoff teams that are in the NFC?
The
NFC is wide open.
Do we have revisionist Like, are we not?
Yes, we know the Rams.
Did we not see what happened like not too long ago, like 2 months ago, like 3 months ago?
Yes, we know the Rams won the Super Bowl. But that doesn't mean they automatically go back.
Did you not see free agency?
New pieces? Okay.
Okay,
that doesn't mean that they're still 100% going back.
I mean, there's never going to be a team that's 100% going back, but we know who's the favorite.
They lost Robert Woods and they lost Odell.
Okay, and they got Allen Robinson.
Oh, they did?
Yes.
So he injury prone.
So what? So Odell was injury prone. So what? Robert was injury prone. They ain't have him. They ain't have him, and they won the Super Bowl. Who cares? Who cares? And then they got Bobby Wagner. Come on now. It's the favorites in the NFC is the Rams, and it's bar none. Now, are they are they like the clear cut prohibited favorites? No, but they're the favorites to win the NFC. Like, am I going to take them over the field? Favorites. Am I going to take them over the field? No, I'm not going to do that. But are they prohibited favorites? Yes. There's no question about it.
Okay, we're gonna see, man. We're gonna see.
I'm not gonna pick them over Tampa Bay.
That Super Bowl slump don't get them.
I'm not gonna pick them over the Packers. I'm not gonna pick them over Tampa Bay. I'm not gonna pick them over the Cowboys, especially the Cowboys. I'm not gonna pick them over the 49ers or Cardinals or the what's the Saints. I'm not gonna pick them over those teams.
The Cardinals won't even make the playoffs.
Ooh, hot take.
I'm not a believer. I'm not a believer in the Cardinals, especially since they're going to be. They historically the past few seasons play the best football within the first half of the season, and they're going to not have DeAndre Hopkins for 6 games. I just don't see it. And their beginning schedule is pretty rough, so I don't see it. I don't believe in them. They don't make the playoffs. I think the NFC East has 2 representatives for the playoffs, which is probably going to be the Eagles and the Cowboys. Who wins the division? I don't know. I can't say. But historically, there hasn't been a repeat division winner in I don't know how many years. So it may be the Eagles. It's going to be the Eagles.
It's going to be the Eagles.
I'm not going to say it. I'm just saying history repeats itself, and it hasn't been a repeat division winner. I don't know how long. Well, so for me personally, I think the playoff teams are going to be the Rams, the Packers, Buccaneers, Cowboys, Eagles, Saints, and for the last team, let's just throw in the Vikings in there. Why not? They'll get in just because they slightly above average.
The Vikings, huh? Vikings.
They'll be the equivalent to a play-in team.
So the playoff,
I don't believe in the Cardinals. I just don't. I don't believe in the 49ers either.
So you think the Vikings are going to make the playoffs over the Cardinals?
Yes.
You lost your damn mind. You lost your damn mind.
What have the Cardinals been showing you, son? They won
11 games last year.
Static with their QB.
They won 11 games last year.
After going like 8-1, 9-1, or something like that. That's the team you putting your faith in.
You putting your faith in Kirk Cousins.
Do you
even know who the head coach of the Vikings is? Do you even know who the head coach of the Vikings is?
I think if you said the name, I know, but I just can't think of
exactly. You don't even know the head coach of the Vikings. How the hell are you going to pick the Vikings? You don't even know the head coach. You don't even know who's on the roster besides Kirk Cousins, Justin Jefferson, Dalvin Cook, and Adam Thielen. I already said Adam Thielen. Yeah. You don't even know who's on the roster.
Who they drafted with their pick? Dang, I can't even remember. I think the Vikings.
You don't even know who the hell's on the squad. Yeah, they'll be all right.
They'll be all right. Just because they got Chicago, they'll get at least 4 free wins off Detroit and Chicago.
They had them last year and they still didn't make it. And they were just bad. Detroit got better.
Barely.
Do you not see the receiver core? And they just got some beat. Man, come on now, bro.
You got Jared Goff throwing the ball. Let's not get too ahead of ourselves.
I mean, Jared Goff has won in the league before. What's stopping him from not winning now?
One of the best offensive coaches in the league.
All right, man. Well,
and even still, he was still stinking it up his last year with him.
I just think that
I'm telling you, Jameson Williams does not move the needle that much for them to be even better than the freaking Bears.
I just think that you need to get off this like hate for the Cardinals because you don't even know like more than 4 players on the Vikings before even.
And the Cardinals they just lost Chandler Jones, their best pass rusher.
Okay, I forgot who's they draft in the first round. I can't even remember. Probably was a safety. But I at least I know more players on the Cardinals. At least you probably know more players on the Cardinals than you do the Vikings.
Well, probably, but what that got to do with anything?
That means you know more about the Cardinals than you do the Vikings. You don't know nothing about the Vikings.
All I know about the Cardinals is they choke at the later half of the season, and Kyler Murray isn't the guy.
And the Vikings at least in
don't. Arizona,
and the Vikings don't.
I trust the Vikings more than the Cardinals.
Oh my God, you trust Kirk Cousins over Kyler? Okay, a Cowboy fan who's played Kirk Cousins all them years, and you trust Kirk Cousins over Kyler Murray? All right. We'll see how this is. You see, the
league is fluid, man. You can't expect the same teams to make the playoffs every year. Someone has to have a down year.
This is a classic example of a hater. Classic example of hate, ladies and gentlemen. Because this
what do I gotta hate the Cardinals for? They won just as much as we did, which is nothing.
Because every time the Cardinals play the Cowboys, we already know what's gonna happen. It's just something about the Cardinals that you just don't like because you know every time the Cardinals play the Cowboys, who gets the bad end of it? The Cowboys every time. So you have this. You just don't like the Cardinals because of that. It's just that's how it is. That's just how it is. Yes.
I just don't like the Cardinals because they're front runners.
Oh my God. And y'all aren't.
Listen, that's besides the point.
Yeah. That's besides the point. Any final words?
Yes. Actually. Warriors in 6. And Celtics in 6.
Okay.
And Trayvon Diggs is locking up your favorite wide receiver ones next year.
That's a different.
Y'all gonna learn. And Michael win the defensive player of the year.
Different subject for another day. Warriors in 7, Celtics in 6. Before we go, subscribe, comment down below, and hit that notification bell for more Courtside View podcast coverage because it will definitely help the podcast grow. And also follow the socials as well. Expect more content from us. We're going to be doing more of these in the future. So, expect that. Thank you guys for watching.